Without the power of God behind everything I do, I really am completely inadequate.
I'm helping the culture. These guys are part of us as well. You know, these are guys of our cousin. I'm helping the culture. I'm pushing the culture forward in another way.
Hey, black child, be what you can be, learn what you must learn, do what you can do, and tomorrow.
What do you do after you read? What do you do after you know all, right? And you can say that you're truly conscious. How are you putting what you know into action?
Hey, what is up? I am your host, Jasmine Gates, here with the New Black History Makers Show. We're at the Good News Network, and I'm not by myself. I'm here with Davonte.
What's up? That intro is amazing.
Thank you.
If I wouldn't imagine this is folks' first time listening, but next time you listen, put some headphones on. Different experience.
And you got to hear the intro. Yeah, you got to watch the intro too. So we want to provide you guys with a good experience when you're watching this show. But yeah, this is episode 12, and we are talking about betting on yourself. So
yes.
Did you actually, side note, did you see the video that I posted of us here 4 years ago?
No.
Like literally on this day.
Did you post it today?
Yeah.
I didn't see it. Dang,
So,
4 years
yeah,
ago today?
4 years ago today.
Wow.
I was like, that's so ironic because I asked him last week, if you wanted to be on the show, and I had no idea that this would be the 4-year anniversary. So you guys are doing All My Mama podcast, you and Danny.
Wow.
So we were literally in this same space. It looked different. Keith was here too. Danny's not here, but he was here, and we recorded a show for your podcast.
That's amazing. I've actually I don't use Snapchat, but my wife does. Mm-hmm. And the reason why she uses it because it tells you exactly what happened this day in the past. And I recognize that there's patterns all the time, you know, so I don't think it's by coincidence that it's this day. Something about the springtime.
This day, right. So I'm excited to have you here. I think it's important, or it's just ironic that it was 4 years ago, and that I think both of our growth can be attributed to the last 4 years.
Absolutely.
You know, who we were sitting in the studio. Shout out to Keith too. He's here, the owner of the Good News. So even with him, you know, a lot of our growth has happened within these past 4 or 5 years. And to be here now on the brink of like the beginning of our new journeys.
We living.
Yeah.
We living.
So I'm super excited. So yeah, that's that. If you guys are new, or if you don't know what New Black History Makers is, it's a brand that's dedicated to uplifting the Black community through media, events, and merchandise. So I have on merch, this little nice windbreaker. You can find us in stores at Uplift Us Marketplace at the Fox Hills Mall. Keep telling y'all, Fenty is on the bottom floor, and I'm right above her on the second floor. So if you're going in there to check her out, definitely go to Uplift Us Marketplace. Over 80 Black brands are in there. And then Unloved LA, which is on Melrose, we are in there. And then, of course, you can shop online at newblackhistorymakers.com. So we're going to get into this episode. Like I said, it's betting on yourself. Davonte is the founder of the Giants Den. If you follow me, you know about the Giants Den. It's people that have like literally that I know do not know you in any capacity, but have been like, what is that thing with the man like that you be posting or whatever? So y'all know about the Giants and you guys are familiar with it. So I had to get him on. He's like a brother to me. But just the growth like has been very evident, and it is very evident. So betting on yourself, I feel like that's something that you're well versed in. But we'll start off with like introductions. How are you?
I'm doing well. If I can. Sometimes I feel like when people ask me like how I'm doing, it's like super loaded because I don't know what to say. You know, be like, oh, I'm cool, or
right.
You know, so in the Giants Den, which is a leadership network for Black men, we ask each other how we're doing by asking the what is it? The acronym is PIES, PIES, and that's physically, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually, or spatially, depending on what your response is. So physically, I went to the doctor. First off, shout out to my doctor. I grew up without having healthcare. So I would go to the free clinic in Watts, right next to Markham Middle School, you know, get my shots and all that stuff. And I only got physicals for football. I never got like regular annual physicals. You know what I mean? So as a 32-year-old man, my wife has actually made it to where like I book my appointments and stuff. But I used to be really overweight at a point. And I used to be scared to go to the doctor because I thought that they would tell me like, "Oh, you got diabetes. You, you know what I mean? You get out here ASAP."
Yeah.
But for the last couple of years, I've been committed to my health and my wellness. And I went to the doctor and got probably the best report back you can get from a
Wow.
doctor: blood work, breathing, lung capacity, all that stuff. So physically, I feel like I'm at my peak. Intellectually, always a student, so I'm like trying to find new things to learn. Emotionally, still learning to work with myself a little bit, you know, but I think for the most part, I'm getting a better understanding of my ebbs and flows because we all have them. And spiritually, I feel very connected.
That's dope.
So that's my pause.
I love that. So if you have listened to the show, you know, in the beginning, so usually I ask the generic, how are you doing? But then I was reading an article and it was saying like, not stop, but also ask questions that don't generate the generic answer of like, oh, I'm just good or whatever. Yep. So I always throw in a question. And that question is, what was your biggest lesson of the week?
Ooh, this Friday? This is Friday, so we fresh on the week, kind of on the week, but off the week. Okay. Biggest lessons of the week was do business when business has been done.
Is that Freddie T? I Am Athlete?
I did hear it there first. Okay. Yep, because he said he got it from Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
And then I had heard it a couple of weeks ago, but this week it really resonated in my own business. You know what I mean? How I've been treating my business, how I've been treating myself in relationship to my business, you know. So yeah, that was the biggest lesson for me, or just a reminder, you know, when it's business time, it's business time. Keith, owner of The Good News, also my best friend in the world. If you're listening, we have a show coming to the network as well, live from the den on TGN Talk. So if you're listening here, you already have the app. Can't wait till you tune into us as well. But even with that, you know, my best friend since 10th grade really has taught me a lot about professionalism in business, you know, as it pertains to working with folks who you have rapport in a relationship with. So yeah, just really have that at the front of my mind.
Right.
That's a big lesson.
Right. I love that. I think for me, if I had to answer the question, my biggest lesson, I think is like protecting your peace. So I have a friend and he had been sending me this message, like, the message it would say, protect your, like, good morning, something, protect your peace. He would send it every morning. And I was like, why does he keep sending me this message? So then I would start responding to him. And when I realized that I wasn't protecting my peace, I would be like, oh, I didn't do this. And then the next day I was like, I didn't do this again. And then I was like, and I'm like, oh, wow. Like, we think we're protecting our peace, or we don't even like think to protect our peace. And then when it's brought up to your mind, you're like walking through the day and it's like, oh, my peace hasn't been protected. I haven't had a peaceful day. So I was a little more intentional, cutting things off and cutting things shorter that I knew like weren't serving me. If it's conversations with people or being out with people or going to dinner and taking a walk after, instead of just getting in my car and driving, like just doing things that were adding to my peace instead of just giving to people. I think sometimes we just give ourselves to people and we don't realize that we are giving up our peace when we allow them when we are taking up space for them, or we're allowing them to take up space in our life. So that for me was big. I was just like, yeah, I'm not protecting my peace.
That's thanks for sharing that, because that's such a dope reminder. And just like, how often are we thinking about peace and what peace is for us? For me, I don't find it to be peaceful when my mind is going a million different directions and I can't slow it down.
Right.
You know, so I find it to be peaceful when I have thoughts or things that are what I call, like, if you have open loops of things that you need to do and you're going to sleep and it's all in your head, writing them down or having a place where you store that information, like more than a to-do list, but getting that stuff out of my head allows me to have more freedom in my mind, which adds to my peace as well, just as a tool.
Yeah. So that's one thing, if y'all could take anything from at least this first part of the conversation, is protect your peace. So shout out to my friend Mike for, you know, just constantly sending me that. And it was like,
shout out Mike.
Yeah. So it was something that I was like, I'm not mindful of. And I think as people that we're cautious of our growth, and we do grow, right? Like, it can be easy for someone to ask us, like, are you doing this? And we say, yes. Are you protecting your peace? And it's like, yeah, because I'm growing, right? But it's like, no, like, there's a lot more growth for us, even as people that grow constantly. So it's just like, yeah, let's be mindful of even the little things that if that's not necessarily contributing to a bag, or if you don't see it as that, like, you can still be mindful of it and still make changes?
And I know this is not the topic.
No, go ahead.
But this is such an interesting thing because for me, I always say like that's the one thing that I want in life is peace.
Right.
And I also get frustrated at times where I'm like, I'm so ambitious. And I never really like a lot of for grass to grow under my feet. I'm asking myself, like, would I ever, be content? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do know that having boundaries is a part of protecting peace for me. But having boundaries for other people could feel like you are avoiding or neglecting or stepping, you know what I mean? Like acting funny, as they will say in our community. You know what I'm saying? And I had to become more comfortable with the idea that boundaries means that you're going to lose certain relationships in the way that they currently exist.
Right.
So it is easier said than done.
Yeah.
Because those relationships could be with folks who you do love and care about. And they may not understand these boundaries.
Right.
But that for me, that's why like self-care and taking care of your peace is something that become buzzwords, but you got to be a real G, you know what I mean, to hold up your boundaries in the face of your loved ones. So yeah, I just wanted to share that.
No, that's real. And we'll get into that a little bit more, but I think that definitely is important. And there was a meme that I reposted and it was just like, I don't uphold, or I think it said something about like not upholding relationships with family members that negatively affect your mental health. And I think in society,
no family. I'm just kidding with you.
Oh Lord. But I think it's real. I think sometimes society makes it seem like, oh, that's your family. You have to do X, Y, and Z. And I get that. And you should hold your family and the relationships to a certain, pentacle. I get that. But then at the end of the day, like if you out here grinding and you out here doing your work and you're going to therapy and you're doing things that are beneficial to you and people are adding negatively to that, then you have to shelf them and place them, like properly. And I think we need to start having that conversation more.
So I've had some conversations, right? So I love my family to death. They know it. And I also understand the role that I play in my family. And I understand the role that my family can play for me.
Right.
And it's not one that like I am a constant in my family. So folks come to me for, when things aren't going right, I'm looked at as someone who can support, whether it be financially, emotionally, conversations, whatever, right? So I know that it's no matter how much funny acting or boundaries that people are trying to push, at the end of the day, I got to make sure I can protect this so that when you are in need, because the way that you are living means that you're in need often. Right. So I can't like worry about what you say. Now we both in the same situation and I can't even help. Negatively impacting family members to me doesn't always look like somebody who is, doing some of the obvious. There's conditioning. We've all been conditioned from our primary, influence, which is our family. Our secondary influences happen once we get to school and the school age, and then we start building all these other groups of influences, and we're socialized that way. There are problems, not for everyone, but all of us have certain socializations that have added to our limited thinking, have added to our self-image, have added to our self-esteem, or taken away from there. So just to perpetuate a lot of those conditionings, I think is for me the negative part of how family play a role. Not allowing you. You were a kid most of your life. Now you're becoming more of an adult. Yeah. Are they ready for that transition? Do they understand you as an adult opposed to you as a kid? Are you still expecting this dynamic to be the same? Because if you are, to me, that's negatively impacting me. So it don't always look like somebody coming at you sideways. It can look like your expectations of me are limiting.
Right. Yeah, that's really real. And I love how sometimes we only deem negative interactions as violent or aggressive. And sometimes things can be passive aggressive. And sometimes things don't even have the look of being aggressive or the look of being violating. And we just allow them to keep happening. Like, as long as you're not yelling at me, or as long as you are not up in arms, or you ain't turned up, like you keeping that rah-rah quiet, like, okay, it's okay that you're saying these things to me. And that's not always true. Like, be mindful of your feelings, how things make you feel, regardless if it's loud or quiet. So yeah, I love that. I want to also get into a little bit more of like an introduction of you. I know you talked a little about Giants Den, but just let us know who Davonte is, what you got going on right now.
Myself. Okay. That's different. So me?
Yes.
All right. Me. So Davonte Green, Inglewood, California, proud father, husband, Yes, founder of the Giants Den. I also run the day-to-day operations of the Giants Den, from building and interviewing our members to making sure that everything that we do is aligned to the safety, the psychological, emotional, and physical safety of our members. Our members are all Black men, most of between 25 and 40. This is not about me. This is about the Giants Den, but I'll share that with y'all.
No, that's good. That's what you do.
Yeah, but also outside of that, I also oversee an entrepreneurship uh, program that runs in 7 of our Southern California prisons and halfway houses. So folks who were incarcerated at certain institutions receive a 1,200-page curriculum that's all focused around self-development and entrepreneurship. So that's what I do as well. Prior to this, I had like my last 10 years of experience has been working with the youth population. So I've worked in some of the most challenging schools. I know Gompers Middle Schools, where I spent most of my time. And I got into that once my best friend was shot and murdered back in 2009. It really just shook up my life. So I was playing football up until that point. He was also my roommate. And when he got killed, I dropped out of school trying to really figure out like what I wanted to do, because football felt like something that I really loved to do, but it just was like self-serving. So I wanted to, after a year, I moved out of our apartment that I was living in with him. I couldn't afford it, dropped out of school. And I went from being mad to being like, yo, why is it so normal that people get murdered where I'm from? And I started really looking into that. And I'm like, why, what was the difference with me? I came up with housing insecurity. I came up in the hood, like everybody in my family gangbang and do all this. Like, what's up? What was the difference with me? And I felt like it was mentorship. I had coaches, I had friends like Keith and Danny, who we referenced a number of times. We've been friends since 10th grade in high school. That's half my life. So yeah. I've had positive influences that way, but I understood the power of mentorship. So that's when I got into a City Year, right? In City Year, what they do is they provide academic intervention and behavior intervention in some of the most challenging schools across the country. They pay you like less than minimum wage. You know what I mean? You working from 7 in the morning to like 6 at night, and I absolutely loved it because it allowed me to really think about or really work with those kids who were more challenged behaviorally, young Black boys specifically, in the schools I was at, young Black and brown boys. So I was able to like really build with them and help them to like find tools to navigate their frustration or to express themselves or find their genius, even if it wasn't math or English, right? Because I wouldn't say that was mine either. Yeah. Stayed there, did so well, stayed there, grew and all that stuff. But I did get into a fight. So I'm gonna share this because I think it's important to like how we even got to the Giants Den. So I was very passionate about working with Black and brown boys, specifically around like behavior in a way that helped them to find their genius and still be just as cool as they wanted to be without getting themselves in any trouble or harming anyone. So I got into a fight actually in the in the winter of 2010. I got into the fight, didn't think much of it. Well, I did think much of it, but nothing happened immediately after. Returned back to work, and I worked at a City Year, right? So I was volunteering for this 2 years. I got promoted as a full-time staff member. In my family, nobody has ever had, like, to my knowledge, none of us have had salary jobs. I didn't even know what salary was. I knew hourly and get it out the mud. My family, my parents were, they were entrepreneurs. So I did I came back, and when I went to get this promotion, they had to run my background again, and I came back with a warrant for assault, burglary. And I came back for so that happened to where I needed to go take care of it. This turns into a felony. I don't need to go do jail time. I get 3 years of felony probation. They tell me to pay all these different restitutions, and I have to go to these anger management classes for 52 weeks. Wow. And each class you got to pay $25. Wow. I was so broke. You know what I mean? But in these classes, I was sat in here with men who really did have anger issues, who really did have abusive issues. But in conversation, you see these guys every week. Some of them are pimps. A lot of, like I would say, a good amount of them are pimps and alcoholics. So I didn't really deserve to be in here. I felt like, so and the guy who was leading the class I think he had a drug addiction problem. He was a former CEO. He was taking people money, not paying the proper people.
Wow.
And he ended up getting fired or running off or something like that. I would end up leading the class unofficially. But I built the respect of the guys in the space, built respect with the guys in the space. And I was facilitating that for like half a year, like 6 months. After I got out of there, I returned back to City Year. Okay. After I got on probation, I returned back to City Year, got my job back as a program manager, then led to me becoming a senior program manager, regional recruitment manager. And then I became the regional recruitment director for the entire West region. Okay. So managing like 17 folks from Denver all the way down to Seattle. Seattle all the way down to Denver. And I was super unhappy with that. More money than I had, just had got engaged. My daughter had just moved with me full time, and I was going through depression. Wow. I had anxiety and all these different things. But I also knew that there was these other Black men who I had met on my journey who were doing amazing things, but where they're from, they're getting looked at as like the guy who made it, the one who's doing it. And this isn't just guys, this is folks who come from places where you're just kind of elevating. Yeah. You're elevating, but where do you go to take the cape off? Where do you go where folks are also experiencing success, but they're experiencing the stress of success? So I wanted us to create a network. I wanted to create a support group for myself and guys who were experiencing that, and also be able to create a network for other things, to do business. So that was back in 2019. Okay. We're now in 2022, and things have definitely progressed and moved forward. But yeah, I think that's a long version of me.
Right. But then Giants Den came.
Yes. So in 2019, we actually did a brunch, and it was just it was called Brunching with Giants. And at this brunch, I facilitated conversation. It was super fly, right? Because I was like, yo, as men, we don't get to do fly stuff. You got to be like Meek Mill or somebody standing on the couch, to do some fly stuff. But you see women going out to these fly brunches, getting together, building, having conversations. I remember you facilitated something very similarly for women. And so I wanted to create and the Rock Nation brunch had happened. Yeah. And I was like, yo, I want a invitation to the Rock Nation brunch. And then I thought like, damn, but I ain't gonna get one right now. So what can I do? Yeah. And the next best thing was to find, reach out to those people who I thought were doing well in following their own path. Right. Those who I thought were leaders, and I invited them out to a nice fly brunch, made everybody table tents, handwritten letter. Right. We did it over in Hollywood. Right off Hollywood, what was that? Sunset or whatever. And it was so powerful, the conversations that we had and the way that we were able to connect with other Black men and see each other, that it then became a responsibility. It's like, no, you don't let this just happen. Yeah. So we did that. We did it again. And every time we did it, it kept growing. That went to like us doing brunches, to like whiskey events at nighttime, which also I was able to leverage all those skills I had using City Year and even with the guys in the anger management group, and kind of fuse them, and we're having fun, we're drinking, but I'm facilitating conversation. I'm taking away the barriers that might prevent us from building further. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, we're going to keep this going, and we're actually going to make it an official thing. That official thing looks like a membership organization, a paid membership organization. They're Black men who are like-minded in that they are purpose-driven. Right. And they also some other things, right? You just can't be purpose driven to get in. Yeah. But that was the main factor. And in August 2020, we did the brunches, we did the events, and then I also wanted to create a space for us to consistently connect with each other outside of these fly, get dressed up type of events. And that came in the form of our 5:15 a.m. call. Right. That we do every Wednesday, and that we've been doing every Wednesday since then. So since 2019. What has that been? 2 years? That would be September of 2019. So this September it'll be 3 years. Okay. We haven't missed a Wednesday. Wow. And these are virtual calls. People, cameras are on. Right. We talk about, at this point, we've talked about everything, and we're re-talking about everything. And also we are just, as we grow and as we get better, we're learning more.
Right.
and we're sharing more. So that space happens every Wednesday virtually at 5 a.m.
Right.
And then we have our monthly tribal. Our monthly tribal is like where we get together, we learn. So it's events. It's grown to so much. But in 2020, the summer 2020, I know the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
Anybody trying to do a membership, anything in person, it probably was not ideal timing. I left my job because, like I said, I was super stressed out in 2020, January. I left that job. And I was like, I'm gonna build the Giants Den while I'm deciding to leave. Let me go ahead and put more time and effort into building this space for us.
Right.
And pandemic hits like a month later. We have we launched a program. We launched a membership anyway. I go from having, I would say over 100 people interested in being members or who've come through our events. And then when we became a paid membership, you can cut that by 75%.
Right.
I
want to get into this chat room, and then we're gonna go on a break.
Oh, hey.
But shout out to DJ Gamma. He said tapping in, driving back from Arizona, and then he said we've all come a long way since those college days of selling Vert. Is that what it's called? Vert?
Oh, snap! Hey, DJ Gamma, I didn't know you was out there selling Vima, man. Yeah, shout out to DJ Gamma.
Right, and shout out to Sean. She said I saw a post that said people that don't like your boundaries are the same people that benefited from them, and I believe that is so true.
Hey, it's my wife right there.
Yeah, shout out to Sean. Sean was here a few weeks ago. We talked about being a Black woman. So, yeah, we're going to come back. Same topic, betting on yourself with Davonte. He just shared his story. So, clearly, y'all know we're about to get into some really good just stuff about how he's grown over the past couple years. Both of us, how we both have grown. But, yeah, this is...
Yeah.
We're getting it together. It's a new program.
Car or make other investments and being discriminated against because of your credit score? At credit909.com, our professionals can help you remove judgments, student loans, child support, medical bills, and other erroneous and negative items on your credit report. Call 800-752-9763 today for a free credit analysis and consultation, or text credit to 909-688-5461.
Hey, beautiful people. It is the baddest bitch on the block, Eric Davonte.
And it's me, Kelvin Unique, and we are the Get Right Radio Show.
Here on TGN Talk. Are you going to church on Sunday?
Hell no, I'll be right here live at 10. We got all the celebrity entertainment news with my favorite segment.
Bitch, you better read.
And of course, I'm going to get you right and get you out that door spiritually with some Uniquely Speaking.
Oh, I need it. The kids need it. And this is why y'all need to tune into us every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. here only on TGN Talk.
Oh my God, do you really know? Do you really know who you are, what you want, how to get it? Or are you just living to exist with drama-filled relationships, bored, unfulfilled desires, and now lack has become your hashtag? The difference between a spectacular life or an ordinary one is merely 15 minutes of discovery. Choose to live a fulfilled life narrated and created by your design. Book a 15-minute free consultation with Coach Zena, transformational practitioner specializing in human design and life coaching. Learn what awaits you. Go to CoachZena.com or on Instagram at coach.askzena.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Alex Himes from Courtside Radio. We love to have you tuning in every Monday and Thursday at 6:30 p.m. right here on the Good News Radio Network. Don't forget to tune in every week, people. We'll see you then.
Hey, everybody. I'm Jaja, your local health professional and wellness coach, looking to help you build health, wealth, and community. Call me, text me at 951-569-8296 or find me at _JZA on Instagram.
What's going on, everyone? This is Mark Cooks, financial strategist and retirement expert. I am here to satisfy your financial needs when it comes to life insurance, retirement planning, and debt settlement. So please give me a call at 323-800-7621 or hit me up on Instagram at blacksuperman_AMC. Let's schedule an appointment today.
You're seriously watching porn by yourself? Oh, wait, that's the wrong script. Oh, that's right. I'm here to talk about the Primos Chidos radio show, live every Thursday at 12 from the TGN Latinx station. Make sure you tune in for some laughs, maybe some crying, and definitely some stupid takes. I'll see you guys there.
Hey, Michael, that's a dope ass shirt. What is that?
You know what it is. I only rock the flyest gear, and the flyest gear can be found with TGN Radio.
Where did you get it?
TGNradio.net. Go onto the page, click TGN Shop Store, and you can get everything you need.
I'm getting mine right now.
Hey, we are back.
And we back.
I hope you guys enjoyed the commercials. Thank y'all for staying on. There's a few people that are watching during the commercials, but yeah. So we are back. New Black History Maker show here at the Good News Network, and I'm here with Davonte. He gave us a lot about his story and his life and how he's gotten to this point. So we're gonna get into the whole topic of like betting on yourself and basically becoming that person. If you read the description, it's becoming the person that is worth betting on yourself for yourself. So I know yesterday marked 3 years since Nip passed, and I know that he was definitely an inspiration to you. So I at least a little bit want to talk about like impact and stuff that he had on you.
Hey man, so there are people, when people die, you hear so many great things about them. People become even more fans. I became a fan over people once they passed. Like the music of Young Dolph. I was familiar, but I became more of a fan once he passed because they were playing it more.
Yeah.
Not the case with Nip.
Right.
For me, 2008 Nip, hustling the house. You know what I'm saying? Like that's but yeah, I think I don't have a lot of mentors. I didn't have a lot of mentors coming up who were on the same things that I was on. So music, I have a brother who's 6 years older than me who's a huge hip hop fan and made me a huge hip hop fan to the point where like I really get into the nitty gritty when I so I use hip hop and music as almost like mentorship depending on who I'm listening to. I get nuggets of wisdom and game, and when I ran across Nip's music, it just he had information in the music that I could actually apply in my life, and I understood exactly what he was talking about. I felt like I can relate to the ambition and the hunger and this balance of like, being from a certain place, but also being intelligent, and not trying to compromise on either. The way that he brought to light things that were taboo in our community, things that were looked at as lame, and he made them cool and he put the culture on them. Like that's literally the whole blueprint I'm on.
Yeah.
So you won't see the Giants then lean one side, too heavy to one side when it comes to being professional or being personal. It's all important.
Yeah.
And I got that from Nip, for sure. Last thing I'll share is I remember 2018, summer 018. Yep. 2018. I was in London and Paris. We were in London, and I remember the time difference. I don't know what the time difference is, but the time difference was crazy. And it was the day that Victory Lap had dropped. And I stayed up all night in London for it to drop. And I remember when that first song came on, I was like, man, everybody in the house was asleep, and I just remember being like, man, this is it. He talking to me. Yeah. So, he's gone, but I think he has a lot of students out here, who really implemented a lot of that.
For sure. So I think when it comes to betting on yourself, there has to be some type of change. Like, I don't think we just are born as these people. Like, of course, we go through different things. And like you've explained, we go through just life as children and then as teenagers. Some of us don't end up changing until well into our adulthood. But I kind of want to talk about like the moment where you knew you had to be a little more intentional with like your actions.
I'm gonna push back a little bit.
Okay.
Because I do think that certain people are born with certain things. I think our environments might add some layers on top of that that could, either prevent you or slow you down. But I've never been, like I always knew since I was a kid that I was going to not be doing what everybody else was doing.
Right.
I played football. So for a long time, I thought that I was going to be playing football.
Right.
And then after Robert died, I realized it wasn't. And oftentimes when you come up in for all of us, you didn't choose to be born into your family or to be raised how you were raised. That's what it was. The city you live in, the house or apartments you came up in.
Yeah.
So, for a lot of us, it's trying to get to the start line. Some people come in at the start line, and then there's people who got to work their ass off to get to the start line.
Yeah.
And for me, I feel like I had the ambition, I had the focus and the drive, and I was just applying it to my survival mode. I was applying it to trying to eat. I was applying it to trying to like figure out some big shit, you know, where I was gonna sleep at type thing, or like dealing with the insecurities of coming up in certain like a certain level of poverty.
Right.
So now I'm not in survival mode. I got them same skills. I got that same drive, but I don't gotta apply it to my basic needs. You know what I'm saying? I can apply it to business. I can apply it to growth and evolution. So um there's definitely been some learnings and some triggered moments, you know, that help put a mirror up to myself and say, oh, you need to shift this or shift that. So I can share with some of those, you know. I've seen a lot of folks pass. Black people say pass. Seen a lot of folks die. I went to so many funerals, you know, for folks who didn't die of natural causes. And now that I'm older, folks who also pass some natural causes. But it kind of helps you to see like, yo, this is all temporary for us. It's temporary. You know, they say life is going to kill you. You won't make it out of here alive.
Yeah.
And that's such a motivator for me because I just want to experience myself on this planet in a way that I can be proud of at the end of the day, or my family can be proud of at the end of the day. So it takes a lot of I think intentionality around making sure let me see, to your question, right? I lost a grip of weight, right? Or I took charge of my fitness and my health, and I'm still on my fitness journey because I knew that my physical appearance was not matching who I believe myself to be. And I needed those things to get more aligned. My money, realized my money was not matching who I believe myself to be.
Right.
Get that money right. You know, I'm still on that journey too.
Right.
You know, like most people, but I think that same approach to everything, like who am I?
Yeah.
You know, do I feel that I have a purpose here? Do I feel like God made me with intentionality?
Yeah.
Because if so, I gotta find out what that is. And these little things that I've done to myself, or like what my conditioning or upbringing had did to me, like I wouldn't feed myself Hot Pockets and cup of noodles and Tina burritos all day. You know what I'm saying? And McDonald's and all that all day. Like that's just what it was, but that's what added to the weight. Right. So now I got to go back and undo that work. You know, I can't be hard on myself. Like, well, I guess I'm just big and I guess I'm unhealthy. It's like, no, it's not your, like who you are today can be totally different than what your physical appearance shows, but you still got who you are today, got to go put that work in because of the past version of you.
Right.
And I feel like that same approach with money.
Right. Tap into that a little bit about like your relationship with yourself, basically. Like, because you said you basically, the person that you were was not who you thought yourself to be. Is that the words that you used, or it wasn't matching with the image who you wanted to be?
Yeah. So, I think better of myself now. I'm trying to go back to like the past version of myself, right? I always thought I was smart, but whether I showed it or not, you know, I always thought that I had good decision making, whether I've like said it or not. But my physical appearance wasn't showing that I had good decision making. It actually showed that I was making some bad choices.
Right.
You know, my money, my spending habits were showing that I was making some bad choices. That's conflicting with who I want to be.
Right.
You know, or who I thought I was, bro. I thought I was a good decision maker, but I'm looking around at the result of my decisions and they are not adding up. So I really wanted to lean into making sure that who I think I am is actually who I am, or working toward that version of how I view myself.
Right. And then so how, I guess, in relationship with yourself, or how was that internally, you realizing that, or you looking in the mirror and being like, it's not adding up?
Yeah, it's there was one time, man, and I think this might be Keith's first time hearing this too, man. Like I was down on my down on my luck at one point, and I think I was also very young. I probably was like 24 or something like that, 23, very young, like 23, 24. I'm 32 now. But when you think about how much the mind could evolve, I was like mad young. And there was a comedy show, you know, and I went to the comedy show and there was a lot of people there who I had known, whether I have known them from like back in the day or I knew them now. And I remember people walking right by me. People hit me with a quick little head nod, like, yo, what up? You know what I'm saying? People who I thought we were super cool, or honestly, now I know, I thought that they should have viewed me or they owed me some type of like enthusiastic, you know what I mean?
Like a greeting that's
And
giving more.
And I remember Agrippa, and this is the story, it's all based off the stories we tell ourselves, right? None of these are facts.
Yeah.
The stories that I told myself was, oh, everybody who has their stuff together are cool. And I'm over here alone. And I rode with Danny that day. And I remember getting in the car, leaving the comedy show, and I was like, yo, D, I ain't playing, bro. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm not who I think I am. I wasn't mad at nobody. I remember thinking like, oh, you thought you was hot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you, bro, and even if you were, you're looking for validation from other people.
Yeah.
You know, so that was a moment where I just recognized I needed to be real with myself. You know, it's not, we can all tell ourselves so many stories about who we are, but like at the end of the day, I realized that I wasn't taking myself seriously. I wasn't actually producing anything. You know, I have a personality that if you met me, you probably is gonna be, I'm cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm cool. But that doesn't always equate to a certain lifestyle or a certain ability to provide or a certain ability to give. So yeah, that was a big moment for me, just recognizing like, all right, bro, you're not who you think you are, and that triggered, you got work to do. You
So
know,
do you ever become who you think you are? Do you become a better version, or what has that process been like for you?
yeah, I am who I think I am right now. You know, like I'm,
and what is that?
That's deep. So well, let me say, I know where I shine and I know where I don't. I know my triggers.
Yeah.
I know when I get bitter and salty.
Yeah.
And I know that's my response to certain things. So I also know how to coach myself out of it. I know that I am social, but if I get overly social, then I will burn out and I need to be able to retreat.
Yeah.
So folks will see me and I'll come through. Hey, what's going on? I literally need to get out of here soon to be by myself in a dark place with one entrance with my back to the door. Like I know these things about myself, right? Or not my back to the door, only one entrance where I can see the entrance. Right. Like, so who I think I am now, not who I think I am, who I also know myself to be is someone who communicates very well verbally. And I'm not someone I'm data informed, but I'm not someone who's super analytical. I'm someone who I get addicted. Like I'm addicted to working out. I love it. You know, and I obsess over. I need that.
Yeah.
I also need physical experiences. I need I need a trusted circle. So if you ever catch me at an event or anywhere that I'm not hosting, you know, I'll probably be talking to one or two people off in the corner. So these are parts of me that I like literally had to learn to be okay with and not try to be someone else. And what I mean is someone else is like being influenced to where, you know, I'm putting myself in situations where it's a danger to like my core. So your question was like, what's that process like? Fitness has transformed everything for me. So I'll use that as the greatest reference. I was 315 pounds, 50% body fat. Driving a Chick-fil-A. My wife was out of town, or my fiance at the time. Girlfriend at the time. You know what I mean? She was out of town. I was going to Chick-fil-A and I was on the phone with her, and I had put my hand down on my lap, whole stomach. I couldn't even get to my leg. My stomach had stopped my hand. I said, wow, you don't need no Chick-fil-A. You already know what Chick-fil-A tastes like, bro. You know, like, what is this Chick-fil-A about to do for you? At the same time, I was trying to build business. And I know that people, whether subconsciously and consciously, but mostly on a subconscious level, you're more willing to trust, negotiate, and work with folks and give them credibility. And this is halo effect that comes with people presenting themselves a certain way. And there's also the opposite effect of folks who are not presenting themselves that way. So I thought that I wouldn't give myself I wouldn't be helping myself in a business manner to not take my physical health seriously. Yeah. But on this journey, and I realized I wasn't disciplined. That's what the biggest thing was. It was like, bro, you talking all this boss stuff, but you don't got no discipline. So for 30 days straight, you know, not 5 days a week for a month, 30 days straight turned into 90 days straight of going to the gym every day. whether I got in there and I just decided that I didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
My goal was to walk through the door every day and not decide at home that I wasn't gonna go.
Wow.
I was gonna decide at the gym that I want to be there. And that level of discipline brought such a confidence because I saw myself showing up for me.
Mm.
And I didn't post on social media for this 90 days.
Yeah.
And the having to delay gratification but work every day.
Yeah.
And I'm still on it, right? So every day you working, but you ain't seeing results every day.
Yeah.
You know, you might see results every other month, you know, depending on how you're doing it, once a month, whatever. And I just fell in love with showing up for myself and being okay with the results coming later, as long as the foundation was built. And I think that was the most transformative thing I could have ever done, because then it leads to a more positive mental health situation.
Yeah.
It leads to a more just positive aura that you leave. So fitness for me was the catalyst.
Right. And
Yeah.
I love that the showing up for yourself, because I think a lot of times people look at us, right? Or us three sitting here and they're like, well, what do y'all do? Or what are you doing? Or, tell me how you took the leap, right? But I think we show up for the good news, new Black history makers in the Giants scene. And we show up for, Keith, Jasmine, and Davonte.
Yep.
Every day. What do we need to be a better version of ourselves tomorrow? And I think we all went through that 30-day, whether it was 3 months for us, a year, 2 years, or the 30-day situation where we had to say, I'm going to put my head down and I'm going to do this the way do business as business is being done, or I'm going to create that culture. Because I know for me, when, I had new Black history makers, I knew that I would say, I know I'm sitting on a gold mine, and I didn't start pushing it. It'll be 4 years in May, but in 2020, like post George Floyd, when all of the riots and stuff were going on, that was when somebody else pushed me to put the shirts out again. And I was just like, okay. And then they sold out. And then I put them out again, and then they sold out. And then now you look 2 years later, we're in stores, we're doing stuff. Like, it's a brand that people know and people are talking about. So for me, I wasn't putting in the effort before. But it's like, what's the point of having these golden ideas, right, if we're not going to put that effort in? But it really took me saying I'm going to show up for myself. And then even after doing that, the business growing, right? The business is not where it was a year ago from today, but it also wasn't where it was a year ago before that. So it's just like, there's always, okay, I got to put my foot on the gas. Like, I got to, do this, or kind of look at myself and say, well, am I the person that, like you said, am I the person that I believe myself to be? And if that's not who you are, then you have to change.
And it's okay to be like, you know what, I'm not.
Yeah.
Because now, like you said, now you can do something about it.
Because most times you're not going to be. Most times you're not going to be. I mean, when you think about wanting to make money and the top earners of the world, most of us are not that. So it's like, if you really want a certain lifestyle, most of us are not that. Like, I'm probably going to mess this up, but the top earners of the world are earning more than 90% of
something like, yeah, that sounds about right. I don't know the exact number either.
Right. But it's that crazy. So it's like, you're probably not where you want to be, but I think there are things that you can do with your money, with your time, with your peace, with your physical health, that can get you to a place where it's like, I am proud of my constant effort.
And I would say too, most people will never experience what it's like. Like, my goal isn't to experience, like, people will say, well, it'll be nice. Well, I'm not about to work for the level of the 1%, because I don't think balance is a real thing.
Yeah, for sure.
But I do think priorities are. And for me, my family is the number one priority.
Yeah.
So me having a healthy marriage and being able to raise my kids a certain way, that's number one.
Yeah.
And I know that takes a certain level of time investment and attention that I'm not willing to compromise on too much, right? And I say too much because for periods of time, I might have to do things that will, for this next few months or a few years, I will have to do. But anything that will compromise the quality of my relationship, as a father and a husband, I can't rock with that, right? And I know that there's different requirements at different levels. In addition to that, I think that we overlook the personal development side, and sometimes people are looking at the business development as something so separate. And personal development from my studies and my own experiences has been the most important part of everything.
Yeah.
You know, your ability to, like, let's say, how much learning are you doing?
Yeah.
Are you a student? Because we talk about betting on yourselves. I bet on myself because I know what I put in the tank.
Yeah.
You know, I know what my toolbox got in it because I'm literally putting tools in my toolbox. I'll leave and I'll go geek out on YouTube University on whatever topic it is I want to learn. You know, and like, so when it's time to leave my job in 2020 of January, people are like, what are you going to do? Like, y'all don't know. I can't, like, I've been prepping myself for, you know, worst case scenarios, and I made it through swimmingly. You know, so I think that as people are doing business building, don't forget the learning. The learning is so important, that the physical health is so important, that having people around you who's heading that same direction as you is really important. So I think those are all key components to experiencing this level of wealth that so many seek. But wealth itself, if you're only talking about money, there are people who jump off buildings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And blow their whole head off
For sure.
and they got bread.
Yeah.
But you don't see those people who have happy families
Yeah.
and their money is satisfactory for their goals doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there isn't balance, but I think once you prioritize the things that you, like we talked about boundaries, the things that you're willing to compromise on and those that you aren't, you know, you go from there.
Yeah, the compromise is definitely something that has to be a fluid conversation. What are you willing to, because I don't think you get 100% of what you want all the time. You know, you just kind of like how you said, even the family that you were born into, like, you had no say on that. You just,
That's just what it is.
right. That's literally what it is. But yeah, so also talking about like potential and stuff, I think sometimes that conversation, it kind of gets, I don't want to say like murky, but sometimes we look at potential as just like something, like if you have it, you have it, and then everything should work out, right? But I know for personally myself, like, I had tapped into my potential, but I was like at the wrong door. And I was like, okay, this is not it, right? Like, so, I mean, prime example, the initiative.
Yep.
Like, oh, throwing events, merch, doing everything. My potential was very evident. It was wrong door though. Like, and I can say that, what, 3 years later, because looking at Black History Makers. So it's like very evident. So like, I just wanted to ask if you had any experiences with that. Because I know even with Giants Den, it was
Cereal,
a different name, right? Before.
Oh man, I'll take you deeper than that. Shout out to the homegirl Thailand. She's Thailand. If you come to any Giants Den event or anything that I've had, period, me or Denny, Ty's been there.
Okay.
So she's somebody we had me and Denny, and it's always me and Denny. You know what I mean? That's really huge. We started with a smoothie smooth. Well, first I had this idea called Function Circle before Facebook. And it was this platform where people, or before Eventbrite, it was like the Eventbrite Facebook merge. And I was pitching to all like these dope boys who I knew, you know what I mean? Because I knew they had mad bread. But I just didn't have all of the resources that I need to get it going. Then Smoothie Smooth came, where me and Danny were actually making smoothies at our house, pulling up to Culver City Stairs, selling smoothies, delivering around the city. Stop doing that. But now you go to Culver City Stairs and you will see they got trucks, right? We was there before the trucks. From there, I also did Group Dynamics. Group Dynamics is a team building and group development organization. We will hold like activities, these activities for certain groups, so church groups, groups from work, and these be these team building things. From there, then at the same time, Vima. So shout out to DJ Gamma Ray.
Yes.
I know he brought up Verve in the chat. So Verve was an energy drink that we had sold in Vima, and Vima, like by description, they're a nutritional energy drink company, all that. But in reality, man, it was the best education I ever received. We had hundreds of people in our organization who were also selling, and we would have these big parties, and that was amazing. That was a temporary thing. That stopped. Before the Giants Den, the name became about, it was called it was Black something, but it sounds so weird said that. I think it was like Black and Bold. It sounded like some tools or something, you know, like we selling hammers. But that's just to name a few. I sold water on a 105 freeway in Crenshaw, you know, like though I sold knockoff cologne and perfume when I needed a job. You know what I mean? I worked at McDonald's, Jack in the Box, Burger King. You know, I was an overnight security guard at the porno video rental place off Hawthorne Boulevard. And it was so creepy because they had an arcade and they'll tell you like, yeah, if you see 2 pair of feet in here, you got to go. I'm like, bro, I'm not going in there at 2 a.m. telling these men to knock it off.
Right.
You know, so yeah, those are all the things that I can remember that I did.
So what's the lesson in that for you? And then do you also feel like that you're at the right door now?
I think this door changed too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think the door get bigger. I think that certain doors lead you to other doors. Certain doors, they all have a hallway. I imagine me being in I'm gonna go back out into the hallway. Doesn't mean that I don't have the key to this door anymore. But this is definitely the beginning of something.
Is this door different than a lot of the other doors?
Yes. Because this is aligned to my skill set and not just my interests.
Right.
You know, so this is aligned to my passion and my skill set, where I think in the past I may have thought something was interesting and I could do it. Doesn't mean that I should or I would.
Yeah.
And when it got too tricky, I realized that like, this ain't really this ain't my skill set. So yeah.
No, yeah, I love that. And I think for me, you know, like the example that I gave, it was that. But I think also when you do get to the right door, that there's not too many doors that come after that are not the right ones. So if you do put me in another position, right, that's not maybe New Black History Makers, or if someone does offer me a job, right, well, now I'm being cautious of, well, does this align with my skill set?
Oh, yeah.
Because like you just said, now I figured out what my skill set is, and I figured out that I can produce for myself, you know, with it. But yeah, so we're going to come back and continue on with that conversation. Shout out to y'all in the chat room. Sade, thank you for hopping on. She said, hey,
what
I
up,
made it in.
Sade?
That's phenomenal. Thank you for that. And then I think DJ Gamaray, he said that's a lot of commercials. Yeah, well,
and they're doing well over here, man.
Right.
TGN Radio.
Go, make sure you guys are listening and going to go follow some of the things on Instagram. But we'll be right back with more of the show. Listening and going to go follow some of the things on Instagram, but we'll be right back with more of the show.
Got a cough, allergies, mucus buildup, or do you just want to boost your immune system overall? Well, at the Organic Option, we make it easy to get your plant-based nutrients daily with organic tinctures and herbal capsules. Just put a few drops of tincture in your water, tea, or juice of your choice, and you'll be on your way to a healthier lifestyle in no time. Super blends like sea moss, bladderwrack, turmeric, and ginger. News for 30% off your order. Once again, that's trytheorganicoption.com. Feed your organs.
What's good? Peace to the people. Danny Crumble, co-founder of the Giants Den from Inglewood, California, but I've been around the world now. A lot of perspective. Can't wait for you to tune in live from the Den Monday nights, 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. We're going to have great conversations, and you can find us on TGN Talk.
Hey everyone, it's the Primos Chidos.
Hopefully you're enjoying this show, but if it sucks, be sure to check out our show, live Thursdays at 12.
Yeah, join me and my sister and basically my brother as we discuss everything from immigration to ejaculation.
If that sounds interesting, then we're the show for you.
Warning, the following podcast features discussion of sensitive topics, graphic content, and uncensored stupidity. Unless otherwise stated, the featured content is not discussed by professionals or experts. TGN and the Primos Chidos must advise against taking anything said on this program too seriously. Viewer discretion is advised.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Alex Himes from Courtside Radio. We'd love to have you tune in every Monday and Thursday at 6:30 p.m. right here on the Good News Radio Network. Don't forget to tune in every week, people. We'll see you then.
Only on TGN Sports.
What's good, fam? It's your boy Marlon from the Hat Bodega, where we sell hats, pins, and other accessories to up your drip. Check out our website, hatbodega.com, or follow us on Instagram and check out our story sales. Use promo code TGN Radio for buy one, get one off on all our pins.
Hey, y'all. What is up? It is Chantal, owner of the Latina Studio. We are a Latina lifestyle brand that empowers badass Latinas on the daily. Our mission is to keep the cultura alive by providing clothing and accessories to help you express your Latinx heritage. We're giving you 20% off. Just head over to thelatinastudio.com and use the code TGN20 at checkout.
Hey there, business owners. Don't miss our limited time offer. Advertise on the Good News Radio as low as $2 per commercial slot. That's right. Promote your business up to 4 times a day, every day for a month on live radio. If you're interested, email us at contact@tgnradio.net. Once again, that's contact@tgnradio.net.
In today's world, everything is about customization. That's why I'm here to tell y'all about Wolf Customs. We can get any and everything customized. I'm talking about t-shirts, sweaters, even cell phone cases. If you have a business or a company or a brand, you probably got a website. You need something custom that's fit to tailor your business to separate you from the competition. Wolf Custom takes large orders and one-of-one orders. So if you got that special event, best you holler at Wolf Customs. You can get custom mouse pads, custom AirPod cases. I mean, it never ends. Tap in with Wolf Customs. Find them on Instagram at _Wolf Customs_ and get your personal touch today.
Yo, what's up? This is Rix.
Yo, this is Rennie.
What up? Dover in the building. Let's go, family. This is Jesse, and this is.
Hey, y'all. We are back with
back.
the New Black History Makers show. Get my hair together. But as you wait, are the mic? Oh, I turned my earphones up. But we are back. I'm here with Davonte. We've been having a really dope conversation on growth, personal growth within your career. I think physical growth, and basically like the process of getting to the person, that you can become to get to the next level, basically. So what were we talking about before we went off air? I was supposed to remember that. We're talking about
the doors.
We're talking about the doors. Yes.
Being
So
in the right doors.
having potential. And I think everybody has potential
To be who they are.
Who they're
I
going.
think everybody has, like this. Now, I don't know if this is a fundamental
thing.
Because I know that you were saying nobody's like born a certain way.
Nobody. I don't think anyone is born ready to go into their greater. There's work.
Yep.
And then you have to also factor in life experiences and that family that you were born into that you didn't get to pick
Right.
and what they do.
Mhm.
And then you have to go and heal from a lot of those things.
Yep.
And hopefully, you're supposed to kind of do that. And then by 30 or something, be ready to take on the world and go into
by 30, this
career
magic number.
Right. Right. So I don't think, what I was saying was everybody has potential. Now, some people die and they don't tap into it. But I think everyone is born with some type of space that they can feel. A lot of people don't feel that though. Yeah.
So I agree. I was adding on to the fact of everybody doesn't have the potential to do what you do. Everybody doesn't have the potential to do what I do or other folks do, right? And neither do we have the potential to do certain things. I do think that there has been, what they call a gift given to every person that was born. And it's up to us to discover said gift. And a lot of us might never discover it or have to go through a whole lot of unpacking and stuff to get to it. But somebody's gift might look very different. And I think in a world where so many people are trying to fit in and be accepted, you can be denying yourself, what that potential, your own potential, because you're trying to fit into somebody else's box, if that makes sense. Yeah. But you do have a box. You do have something that was meant for you, but only through building that relationship with yourself. Yeah. That's why I think personal development is huge. Where you understand, I think, more greatly your ingredients, your sauce.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
So yeah.
Let's talk about that a little bit. The perception of others on ourselves, because you mentioned it a little bit with that moment where you were at the comedy show, and that was a moment of that, or just realizing okay, people's perception of you was not aligning with the perception that you had of yourself. So then getting to this version, right? Does the perception of others, is it something that you think about? Is it something that bothers you, or how do you kind of navigate around it?
I think I've evolved in it, and there's still some when people I don't care what other people think about me. Well, you care about who you care about and what they think about you.
Yeah.
You care about the people you care about and what they think about you. Now, at this stage in my life, I realize I don't care what everybody thinks about me.
Yeah.
I don't care about what many people think about me. And just because to care about what somebody thinks about you, then to allow that to change your direction or course are different. I think in any leadership position, you are met with a lot of scrutiny.
Yeah.
I think you're met with a lot of folks not understanding decisions that you might make, or, if I was in that situation, I would have did it like this. Yeah. That don't come to me. Nobody's calling me saying yeah, you didn't do that right. So let's just get if somebody's hating, I don't know. Right. Because I don't talk to them.
Let's talk about that too.
Yeah.
Because I don't really involve myself in the conversation with haters, but it's a conversation that happens. And a lot of people are like, oh, okay, I got haters, and when the haters doing this or whatever. So is that something that you feel like you have? Is it something?
I swear, look, and with all respect to folks who say they got haters, like, how do you know?
Right.
You messy. You know what I'm saying? You into some BS.
Right.
I don't know because I'm not talking to haters are talking to other haters.
Yeah.
Haters are talking to people at they level. People who are doing better than you don't typically find a way to hate on you. You know, it's usually low level conversations. You know, and I'm just not having low level conversations. I think they're haters? Yes. Do I know them? No. Well, do I know them? Maybe. But are they hating to me in my face? Not at all. So it never gets to me. So I don't pay them no mind. And I think that I remember Jay-Z having haters. My brother, I said he's a huge hip hop fan. He hated Jay-Z. He would have arguments. Jay-Z the wackest. They be giving him too much love.
Right.
Man, he's the GOAT.
Right.
No matter how you cut it.
Consider the source. Like your
The
brother
haters always.
I mean, no shade at your brother, but like Jay-Z is not going to get on a podcast and talk about.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Conversations that your brother or anybody's like, because there's people who don't like Jay-Z.
There are people who, and whether you like him or not, he is the pinnacle of what success looks like in our culture.
For sure.
You know what I mean? He's the number one reference for all these different motivational is Jay.
Right.
And I've heard people hate on them. I've seen people hate on so many folks who eventually grow to be ultimately successful. You don't need the acceptance of anybody to get to where you don't need the acceptance of everyone to get to where you're going.
Right.
There's people who like apple pie and there's people who hate apple pie.
Right.
Apple pie is still apple pie.
Right.
So for me, you know, if somebody's hating on me, for one, you know, everything I do is to build other folks up. I'm not a person my purpose is really tied to a lifting of all ships. So to hate on me is also on some like, bro, what you on? We talking about all this black empowerment, this people empowerment. What you hating on?
Yeah.
So I think it's weird to hate on a black man literally trying to create space for other black men to feel seen, heard, and to thrive.
Right.
That's weird. I don't even care what you think.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, I'm talking to people who are talking about ideas, adding resources and benefit or some type of positive energy to the world. So if somebody was hating to them, they're not sharing it to me. So I think haters eventually kind of like a leaf on a tree. You know, when the season change, they're gonna fall.
Yeah.
You know, but the tree itself is gonna keep on moving. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. It's a weird concept for me. It's something that I'm like, social media and stuff will make you feel like you're supposed to have haters. And it's like, like you said, I don't go around talking to people or people don't come talking to me about what they
Hey, I'm hating on you, man. That's what you know.
What I'm doing. Right. So I think it's an interesting thing, but it is definitely a popular conversation in like our culture right now.
Also, a lot of folks who come with the like, oh, people hating on me. I think there's still a level of immaturity, right? I'm generalizing, so I know it's not true for everybody, you know, but for a lot of folks, it's a level of immaturity because you want to be seen as a certain way.
Yeah.
And if somebody doesn't accept how you want to be seen, you might think they're hating. You know, some people who are giving like constructive feedback or feedback to help your situation, you might determine that as hating. Oh man, yeah, I see what you got going on. It'd probably be cool if you did this. Man, hating on me talking about I should have this.
Right.
Like that happens too. And so sometimes people take feedback as hating.
Yeah.
And I think that should be, you know, really deciphered between.
Oh, for sure.
And being in LA, you know, I never forget what Tupac said. He said, nigga got smoked by a fiend, try to floss on him blind to a broken man's dream. That always stuck with me. So I pulled up here with a drop top, you know, and I'm very, just so I can get some sun.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? But like, just so I can get some sun. You feel me? But at the same time, I'm aware that you can be looking like food to somebody. You know, so like you throwing on all the chains and you trying to have people see you in a certain way, it's almost a danger at times. I ain't telling people I ain't scared to like be me, But there's a very real thing, especially being here in the city, where there's the haves and the do not haves. What's the haves and the have nots?
The do not haves and the do haves.
So, ain't no, like, what are you trying to gain sometime from, being in a certain environment where folks might have trouble meeting their basic needs, and they looking greedy at what you got.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't signing up for that.
I think intentions matter at the end of the day, and a lot of times even intentions and why we're bringing up things, those matter too. So yeah, it's a interesting conversation, but it's something. It's like for us, you look at here in LA, I think people are talking about us, right? So if there were to be some haters, it would be like, I think maybe we would have some a little bit, but
If you are in
claim
LA, if you're in LA right now, between us, like there's 3 of us in this space, and I know Keith isn't on the show. We keep referencing him,
But
but the good news is all across LA and plus other places. New Black History Makers literally everywhere. You see it everywhere, right? The Giants Den, our membership community alone represents so many folks who are doing things in the city. So I honestly don't know what it is to hate on. You know what I mean? Like, because if somebody think that just because you are popping socially, that you got it all together, you tripping.
Yeah.
Because I'm still I feel like it's day one for me.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure so much out. Yeah. My family, we're not out the woods yet. As my dad would be like, hey, son, you're not out the woods yet. You know what I mean? So I think that's also something to be said. Ain't nothing like being famous and broke. Somebody said, I think Remy Ma said that the other day.
Right.
But,
and that's not the goal,
Yeah.
So that's not the goal at all. I want to switch gears a little bit. Marriage. So that's something I don't even know if I've interviewed you before. We've talked.
Oh,
I don't think I've interviewed, because I was going to say since the last time, but I think you've interviewed me, but I don't think you've ever been.
I don't think so either. Oh, wow.
But either way, marriage, that's something new for you.
The 1-year anniversary next week.
Wow.
Yep.
So how has that changed? Contributed to your growth as well.
Oh man, like I said, I went to the doctor. You know what I'm saying? So there's marriage, and then there's happily married. Like marriage, anybody can go down there right now and they'll hook you up. You pay your fees and they'll get you on the books. And then there's happily married. Like my wife, we kind of have like a different foundation set. Like I didn't always like if folks are seeing this growth, she's played such a huge role in me believing in myself even more. So maybe I should have said that earlier. You know what I mean? Because every day I hit the gym, she was with me. Every day. Having somebody who lives with you, who not only supports, but they're in it too, is a plus. Whether it's a roommate, a girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, whatever. But when y'all on the same page that way, it's different. Yeah. She is. I thought I was already calm. She's somebody who doesn't like amp me up to do extra shit.
Yeah.
I like a lot of women put an expectation on the man that if like I am me. You know what I'm saying? I'm who I am. And if you know me, I got jokes, but I ain't playing. So but she's somebody who's like safety first. Hey, everything's cool. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so somebody who like has really helped shape my perspective around like, why do I even care? I used to get irritated when we were dating, and she would say like, but why do you care? I'm like, hey, that's kind of dismissive. What you mean? Like, why do I? But then I asked myself like, oh shit, why do I care? So for me, being happily married has made it to where I want to take care of things that I'm entrusted with. It's not no burden. It's like, oh, you feed my soul. And that's different. So there's not like this, I guess it's not like this fairy tale either, where it's like, I fell in love and I just couldn't see anybody else in the room. And, like, that's the movies.
Right.
For me, I am a better person. I believe in myself more. I see myself more. She understands me in a way that no one else could even come close to understanding me. And she accepted me at my lowest point. So when I met her, I had negative $937 in my bank account because I was overdrafting like crazy. She would we was both was doing. She was buying me. She was like helping me get groceries, and then she also gave me some. Hey, yeah, this is some money. You know what I mean? Some money management type stuff. We were working together, and I was blowing through my checks. She was like, "How you ain't got? We just got paid Friday. Like, what happened? You know?" What I mean? So somebody who like never judged me for that, and she was just my friend, and so I didn't feel, and I didn't have any like. We weren't even trying to date. So she was my coworker who became a friend. And I would tell her about all the girls I was talking to, about the crazy nights that me and Danny would have when we were living together. And she was cool. So when I found out that we had this like romantic connection, it was like, damn, you still want to rock with me even after I told you all my little ratchet stuff, or you know what I mean? You knew about the -9.
Right.
You know, my car had broke down and we was riding together to work, you know, from there. But before that, we was riding around my car before it got broke down. So I just think partnership, I'll leave it at that. I'll say to me, happy marriage is a partnership. They can look different depending on what that partnership needs, but just not feeling out here alone,
Yeah.
you know. And yeah, it just changed. It made me take everything a lot more serious. At the end of the day, when I said do business with business is being done, that business shows up for your family. You know, that's the business that you take. That's the fruits of that business is what you take home to make sure everything is cool.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I probably can go on more, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like having the ultimate support system and somebody who's not by to try to hold you back, but like help move you toward the direction that you're trying to do.
For sure.
Yeah.
I love that. Shout out to Sean out here holding it down.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, black love for sure. So we're definitely gonna wrap up soon, but I want to kind of tie everything together. So like now I feel like there's levels, or not levels, but now it's a space of commitment and dedication, right? So you've like already jumped the hurdles of like becoming disciplined, right? And then jump the hurdles of like, okay, we need to make lifestyle changes, right?
Yep.
So that's where you are. But like, what does the commitment and dedication look like in like a practical way for you?
Could you? I feel like I'm on the show. Could you ask me again one more time, please,
So
Bob?
commitment to yourself, commitment, and then you can also tap into commitment to like growing the business and stuff.
Yeah, to myself. I think keeping I'm not out the woods yet. So I did accomplish certain disciplines, not all of them. I'm disciplined when it comes to
Well, I
working
don't
out.
think you ever get off the woods.
Nah.
From,
I hope that's my thing. I hope so. You know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
but you all, yeah, I mean, being a better person,
Yeah,
I think
right.
as long as you can breathe, you can always be better.
I would agree. I would agree. So for me, I think that it looks like constant reevaluation every so often. And having those convicting conversations with myself and allowing. I've been having this motto for the last couple of weeks, and it's a Ti song, "Big shit popping, little shit stopping." You know what I mean? And that's really because I feel like you could put a whole lot of effort towards something little, you can put a whole lot of effort towards something major.
Yeah.
You're gonna put effort toward one of them, you might as well go with the major thing.
Yeah.
And for me, I realized that I still have and had limiting beliefs. I discovered some of my limiting beliefs, and they've had me operating on a lower scale. My targets were low. My targets were low because I think that my confidence had to grow to really understand that I could do more. You know, and that might come from being able to see the fruits of what you do, or like certain feedback you get, or looking at, you know, how the business or how you are operating in the world so far. And now it's like, yo, I know that I've tackled obesity, I've tackled love, I've tackled business, or I'm tackling, like these things are never over. You know, things of being a father, made it through. Like I come up, you know, housing insecurities, and I come up in like real thunderdomes. You feel me? Like it was a little different. And I got through all these different things. So why would I then think I came that far to only come this far? You know, that's not facts. So actually, let me set the bar a little higher and use all that confidence I have from overcoming or going through certain aspects of my life to achieve something with a greater reward. So yeah, I think just being real with myself, what I need to change, what I need to develop in, what I need to grow in, what I need to let go, and identify those things and move accordingly.
And what do those evaluations look like? Is that something that you do with yourself? Is there accountability partners or?
Yeah, yes and. I always say yes and. That's funny. I don't say but. I don't say but a lot. I say and instead. So just a random fact about my speaking. Yes, there are the Giants Den. Right, the Giants Den. We meet every. I'm also able to share myself in that space, my thoughts and what I'm going through, or get motivations from other folks. It's constant. It's a group of like never ending energy that somebody is doing something. Right now we have Flip who's killing things in NFTs
shout out
and
to
like
Flip.
on stages and creating different worlds. And we have folks who are like Dre who should be and
Right.
soon will
Yeah.
be city councilman of District 2. We have
Happy birthday to him. It's his birthday today.
we got Dr. Shout out, happy birthday. I think my man's in Zanzibar.
Right. Tanzania.
But just name a few. We got folks who are doing acting, and so when you around folks who are constantly putting themselves out there toward their goals, it's a motivator for me to do the same. And then I got Keith and Danny.
Yeah.
I have Keith and Danny who also like just on a smaller, more nucleus side, like that's somebody. Those are folks who are always going to hold me accountable. And then most of the time is me meditating. I think more consistently having that quiet time with myself. I that's where I find a lot of answers. So prayer and meditation for like just getting my mind to calm down. Trying to document things more. That's a level of accountability I
Is
have.
that like journaling or?
I'm thinking specifically around like plans.
Okay.
So, I plan to do this. I plan to do that. I plan to do this with the business. I plan to do this with my family. Like none of that stuff is written down or none of that stuff is like in a place where you can see the plan. To me, like it's just an idea. And I'm just getting better at actually like I have a business. I had to go back through and do a business plan. Straight up.
Yeah.
Because you get to a point where you say like, okay, should I go this way? Should I go that way? How can we do this? So like a business plan keeps you on track. So I feel like same thing with like fitness or, I want to do 3 trips a year, one with my wife, one with the family and one with my boys, you know what I mean? Like, so what's the plan there? So for me, the level of accountability looks like, not just having an idea, but, putting it down somewhere so you can really get to move on it.
Right. No, I love that. I think planning it's part of intentionality. So basically just putting things out there, saying that you're going to do them, being a man of your word. So yeah, that's dope. So you guys are getting ready to air your first show or go live.
Yeah.
April 11th?
April 11th, 7:30.
So not
live
this
from the
week,
den.
but next week. What day is that?
That's a Monday.
So
Monday night.
Mondays, they will be here in this seat. And do you want to tell us a little bit about it? What y'all got planned?
So just imagine, not imagine, tune in on April 11th. You don't gotta imagine that we're gonna be here. We have a lot of dope conversations that exist in silos. So like I said, for the last nearly 3 years, we've been running the organization to where we're able to have input from engineers, doctors, lawyers, teachers, you name there's a number of different professions or like upbringings and like experiences, and those conversations live there.
Right.
There's a lot of growth that happens in this space in our membership community that we believe that folks should just benefit from. We'll talk. So like a lot of leadership conversations, self-improvement, things that literally have implications on one's lifestyle. We talk about lifestyle. So lifestyle is literally the style in which you live.
Right.
It's not a money thing, right? So there's Danny as myself and Danny as the host. If you follow Danny at Danny _follow through fit, my man's is fit. He got his mind right, he got his body right, he has a good positive relationship, he's a great father, and he is a leader in the Giants Den as well. So we're just really kind of taking the consensus of a lot of the topics that we talk about in the Giants Den around, to name a few. You could expect us to talk about something like confidence. We could talk about style and grooming. Although we have these conversations with men, they're not only designed for men, but if you know a man, if you are a man, if you are someone who's looking to grow as a person, man, female, or other, this is what you want to tune into. There's a wealth of knowledge to come that's really designed around leadership and self-improvement.
Right. Yeah. And I think we have to give space to Black men and allow y'all to speak, and share your stories and listen, without necessarily like butting in and trying to put in our 2 cents too. So from the perspective of a Black woman, I'll say that. So I think that'll be dope. I'm definitely looking forward to listening and tuning in.
If I can share, I also say this, and this is this Inglewood Tay. Inglewood Tay. There's a lot of I can curse on your platform a little bit, right? There's a lot of sucker shit that men do. So I'm not coming and say like, we need a space to just talk, to just talk.
Right.
We also need to talk about things that are going to help men to grow.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Because there are still people who do foul things.
Yeah.
There are still men who fall under, certain conditioning that allows them to hurt other folks or hurt themselves or not believe in themselves or not to see themselves and not to see others. So the space is really designed to provide tools, resources, and information, and even the energy to build those men.
Right.
So yeah.
I love that. So we're going to wrap up, but this was a great show. Thank you, Davonte, for being on here. This is episode 12. We also have the soiree that's coming up. I'll post the flyer, so definitely follow us at New Black History Makers, but we're going to get out of here. Shout out to the Good News, the home team, for always letting us be here in the studio. Catch us next Friday at 3:30. We will be back right here. But yeah.
Without the power of God behind everything I do, I really am completely inadequate.
I'm helping the culture. These guys are part of us as well. These are guys of our cousin. I'm helping the culture. I'm pushing the culture forward in another way.
Hey, Black child, be what you can be.